I'm Renee Fox. I'm one of the co-chairs. But it's my pleasure to have everyone here and have this wonderful group join together as we get to listen and learn from Rabbi Steinsaltz, so thank you. What you probably don't know is Rabbi Steinsaltz flew in from Israel today at noon. So he's hot off the plane from Israel and amazingly ready to teach, so we're thrilled to have him.
Yeah! Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kideshanu hamotzi lehem min haaretz. Mangez. Steinsaltz. So your husband won't bug you anymore.
Claude, you know everyone on this table, right? But you know Margie, she's the director of all operations for Rabbi Steinsaltz in the United States.
Oh, you are in New York. I read everything about you, believe me. Through the books, I know who you are. Through the driver, I know who you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the President of the Board, Victoria Conrad.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of our Board of Directors, and as the President of Congregation Beth Tefillah, I'm Victoria Conrad, and welcome you to our 3rd annual Gala. What an unbelievable event. It is such an honor to look around the room and see how far we've come in such a short time. And I'm proud to announce that this year's Gala has the most attendees of any of one of the past. So thank you. I know that I'm not alone when I say that at the very core of our community is our rabbi and his wife, Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz. Their never-ending hard work and dedication inspires us all to get just a little bit more connected. Knowing the influence that they've had on my life and my family's life, it makes it that much of a special honor to have with us tonight our rabbi's rabbi, his teacher, his mentor, Rabbi Steinsaltz. Rabbi Steinsaltz is one of our nation's few, foremost, and most brilliant leaders, with an array of inspiring accomplishments. The chance and the honor to have an opportunity to share this evening with him is absolutely incredible. And wow, we get to do that all here together tonight. There are so many that have worked hard on putting tonight together, so I would like to take a few moments and thank them for their efforts. All of our volunteers and staff who have made this evening magnificent. In particular, allow me to thank our co-chairs, Renee Fox and Valerie Borden, for their tireless efforts.
Where are they? Oh, yeah.
Please stand up so we can.
Okay.
Oh, hello. And of course, Margie Ruth Davis, who facilitated having Rabbi Steinsaltz here among us tonight. So thank you very much, Margie. With just over 3 years behind us, Congregation Beth Tefillah is a warm, inviting community. No, family. Amen. full of life, unparalleled energy, and activities all year round. From our inspiring daily and Shabbat services, to our youth programs, our Ashafai Women's Group, which I must say, its success is due to the leadership of Valerie Gordon. Thank you. Our youth programs, educational classes, and many exciting social and entertaining events. As we face the future, I'm filled with great joy and excitement for the continued growth and the many plans that lay ahead of us, including finding a permanent home for our house of prayer. I invite you to join us hand in hand in making these goals a reality. Today, I call upon each of you to join the excitement and get involved in being a part of our growth in any area that you prefer, whether joining our daily minions to helping organize social, educational, or spiritual events. I promise you, the involvement is rewarding in multiples. I feel very fortunate to be able to share this evening with you. Once again, welcome. L'chaim to our Gala and the future of C.B.T.
What most of us didn't know, but now know, is that yesterday and today is Vicky's birthday. We would like to honor you with a cake and sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ricky. And in Hebrew. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so
Seba tov, seba tov, seba tov, mazal tov. Seba tov, seba tov, mazal tov. Seba tov, Eleladu. Eleladu, Eleladu.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. I'd like to make a quick reminder that we are having our silent auction, and that will end at about 10 after 8. So if you didn't get a chance to put your name down, or if there's something you want really bad, then please go up and put your name, and that's going to end at 10 after 8. Oh, my name is Valerie Gordon. If you don't know me, and this is beautiful. This is truly, truly beautiful. So many people here. We have members, non-members, all over the community, Orthodox, Reform, everyone. And you know, we're all in this together, and this is really stunning. Thank you so much, everyone that's here. Speaking of the auction, I'd like to thank our donors. We have Bath Time Baby and Kids. Yvonne Skin Spa.
Yeah!
Karen and Robert Nagel.
Yeah!
Mark and Laura Leibovitz.
Yeah!
Modafina Fine Diamonds and Jewelry. Mozart Cafe. Parents Paris.
Yeah!
Perfect Water Technology. And the Jewish Collection. There are also many, many people in the audience tonight without whose love, generosity, and commitment this evening would not have been possible. There's too many to name everyone. But I really would like to give a special thanks to Rabbi and Esther Allouche.
Yeah!
They make themselves available day and night, and they give everything they have to this community, and look what they've created. It's beautiful. I'd also like to thank Margie Davis, who helped us coordinate with Rabbi Steinsaltz, and a huge, huge thank you to everyone on our team who gave us all their time and expertise. This is an amazing and inspiring community, and it's a beautiful thing to watch us come together and grow. And also now I'd like to introduce Renee Fox, my coacher.
So I have the honor of thanking the people who donated to this event and underwrote it as sponsors and underwriters, so thank you very much. Vicki and Tracy Conrad. Bruce and Lisa Golden, thank you very much. Dr. Sean and Diane Lilly. And Bill and Eileen Smith, who aren't here with us at this event. All right, so my husband and I did donate as well. Thank you. Elisa Jost also donated, so thank you. The Newberg family, thank you. And Jonathan and Irene Track, thank you as well. Dr. Nathan and Judy Laufer. Susie Silver. The Stein family. Dr. Ron and Helen Milman, who also couldn't be with us tonight. Jean-Michel and Lee Nahan, thank you. Devin and Tanya Spear, thank you very much. In addition, we've had VIP underwriters, Thomas and Aviva Gorney, thank you. Sean and Diane Lilly again, thank you. And Meyer and Yvonne Zanatti, thank you very much. And I want to give one last thank you to my co-chair, to Valerie, because she truly put on coordinated 99% of this. I only came in at the last minute, so thank you for all you do. Dinner's being served, so enjoy, and then we'll have Rabbi Steinsaltz speak in just a little bit.
Good evening. As a member of the board, I was asked to introduce the leader of our synagogue. And when I was asked to introduce the leader, I thought about that for a minute, because I thought leader is a noun. And when I think of our leader, he's definitely not a noun, he's a verb. He leads by action. He does not just lead by being. He leads by action. Everybody loves the rabbi. And he not only leads our synagogue, but he leads our family and gets down and touches each and every family, I'm sure, that's here. And he's touched us in so many ways. And one of the other things that I can think of that's appropriate for tonight is that I'm so grateful that our rabbi studied Rabbi Steinsaltz, because I always feel like a part of Rabbi Steinsaltz is with us by having Rabbi Allouche here. It's an honor and privilege to announce and introduce Rabbi Allouche.
Thank you very much, Diane. Thank you. Before I introduce my dear Rabbi, I'd like to call upon Scott Stein and Claude Amiel, also members of the board, to lead us in a special blessing. You may be surprised, but I'd ask everyone to please rise. And this blessing appears in the list of blessings in the Code of Jewish Law. It is a blessing that is recited when we are fortunate and privileged to see a giant of Israel, the blessing, the words of the blessing speak for themselves. And I'll ask Scott and Claude, come on, Claude, let's go. To say the blessing, and we may repeat word for word with them.
אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שחלה משי מחוכמתו לערב.
Blessed are you, God, that have bestowed your wisdom upon those who fear him.
Amen. Amen. May be seated. Indeed, it is a privilege to have you, Rabbi, among us today. I know that Renee mentioned before you just flew in from Tel Aviv, from Israel, and it's an immense privilege, not just for our community, but I truly believe for the city of Phoenix, and perhaps even for the state of Arizona, because as the Torah teaches, when a tzaddik comes to town, when the righteous man comes to town, his holiness comes with him, and it truly spreads throughout the city and throughout the state. Before we begin, just a few thank yous again. I'd be remiss to not say thank you to Valerie Borden and Renee Fox, our co-chairs for the evening. Where are they? No, please rise. I need to see you. Please rise. Oh, there you go. Oh, excellent. Well, thank you for this wonderful, elegant evening. We'd like to thank all the volunteers that helped, also all the sponsors that supported us. But I must say that, to begin something in life is quite easy. To get married is easy. To have a child is easy. But to raise that child, to stay married, it's not that easy. It's not that hard. We began this with great excitement 3 weeks ago. And with your help here tonight, and especially with the help of our board of directors that you saw today, we have not just maintained this growth, but we've also continued it onwards and upwards, and for that I thank you. So speaking about Rabbi Steinsaltz is really an impossible task. I would quote Winston Churchill, I believe, who said this on Stalin, that he's a riddle wrapped in an enigma. But he's much more than that, because to me he encompasses everything. That's the riddle. There's a beautiful Talmudic text that says that when Rabbi Yossi passed away, Batlu ha-eshkolot, the eshkolot, the grape clusters, vanished. And the Talmud goes on to say, what does it mean, grape clusters? It's a play on the word eshkolot, ish shehakol bo, a man that everything is within him. And Rabbi Steinsaltz to me is that everything, because it encompasses both the secular world and the holy world. It encompasses a fatherly figure filled with love, yet he's a man of great stature in the world, respected by leaders like Antonin Scalia, Yitzchak Perlman, Shimon Peres, Bibi Netanyahu, and so on. He's a man that loves children, yet also is able to relate to the highest of adults. A man of paradoxes, but all those paradoxes harmonize well within him, and therefore it is an immense privilege to have you here tonight. I know that Rabbi Steinsaltz doesn't like these introductions, but I'll just end, because to me, beyond all of this, and maybe this symbolizes him most, I'm reminded by a story of the Lubavitcher Rebbe that inspired Rabbi Steinsaltz too greatly. They had a special connection together, but the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Schneerson of blessed memory, was once given an automatic envelope opener. He used to receive thousands of letters from Jews around the world every day. And the uncle of my brother-in-law actually went and purchased him an automatic envelope opener. Would save him some time. And the Rebbe immediately refused to accept that gift. So he asked him why. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe of blessed memory said it's very simple. You see, some send me letters and they seal those envelopes with their saliva. But some send me letters and they seal those envelopes with their tears. And those tears I need to feel. Rabbi Steinsaltz, more than anything, feels those tears of every Jew, of every human being. You'll see it as he speaks. I'm touched by his true heart. that shines through his every word. And it is for that we are so thankful that you are here, and I'm forever thankful for you being my rabbi. So, we'll begin with this interview. I have to say, this is a bizarre position for me. I'm not Ted Koppel, who also called you one of the very few wise men he's ever met. But I'm your student. But still, I promised to run this interview. So we'll begin with some personal questions, Rabbi, and we can continue with some other topics that many of you asked. In general, I'd like to divide this interview into 4. Number 1, personal questions, if you don't mind. Number 2, questions about relationships, which is a big subject these days. Number 3, about Jewry in general and our biggest obstacles. And number 4, it will be questions that you emailed me. Now, I have to confess, I'm not going to ask all of these questions because I received tens and tens of them, but at least a selection of them. And I'll try and ask Rabbi Steinsaltz during his stay the remainder of the questions to be able to give you the answers. So, for the first question, to a genius of the highest order, it's not often you get to pick his brain. Genius of the highest order, as the Newsweek magazine called you. So, Rabbi, our generation, I think, lacks role models. And as a personal question, I'd like to ask you, who were your role models? And what did you like most in them? What did you learn from them most beyond their teachings and the text and so on?
Don't do that.
Well, basically there were more than one person and different stages of my life. But one of the most influential persons that was in my life was my late uncle, who was a person that nobody knew, nobody heard about, but he was a wise man. Now, you can find easily lots of clever people, and you can find as easily lots of learned people. So you have a person who's kind of both clever and has a PhD, but he's basically a fool. It happens. I encountered lots of such people, even with higher academic degrees, but they're still in the same level. So wise people are there. That was one person. And the other side, almost the other end of the picture, was the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Was again, in a certain way, he was, when he came to lead the Jewish people in so many ways. It seems that it was about the time when I was bar mitzvah, about the same time, almost the same time, but I didn't know it then. But it was one of those people that was. There are many things that not only I can say, it's not just of learning from him. That was it was not the most important part. The most important part was he gave himself up completely, entirely to the Jewish people, and sometimes people speak about sacrifices. So a person sacrifices a goat or even an ox, but he sacrificed himself. So that is in many ways, whenever I happen to think about what can be done, what should be done, and I think about it, and I see what a person has to do. Now, if he has the ability, that's something else, but there are two different things. The ability is sometimes a person is born with certain talents and other things. How much he works is also a matter of how much he works out, but is the sacrificing, the interest, the willingness to be involved. That is something that I could see how a person is living. He just, when he became, so to say, the great leader he was in a different way, just as if he said, and now from this time on, I cease to be. I'm just becoming a vehicle. I'm not longer a person in his own. And it was a person, very much of a person. And he was, now he is just a vehicle in the, so to say, a vehicle in the hand of God. So I'm trying to imitate it. Now, how much? Not well enough, not strong enough, but I'm trying to imitate it. One of the things that trying not saying, just thinking about it and thinking that you have some kind of a model to follow.
Okay, well, thank you, Rabbi. So undoubtedly you've imitated the Lubavitcher Rebbe very well by your sacrifice. And I think everyone knows all the achievements that are on the bios. But is there something, and that will be the next question, is there something about yourself which few people know about?
Well, look, I've been, so to say, exposed to all kinds of things. Let's say, how to say, it's a funny thing to say. I'm not romantic, but I'm sentimental. It is something that people won't see immediately.
Okay. So in continuation of that question, maybe this will be the last personal question because I know you don't like speaking about yourself, but you know, they say that people create their own dictionaries. You include words that you want and words that you don't want. I know that you've excluded words like sleep. You don't sleep much. You've excluded many words like lazy. That's something that surely doesn't belong to you. Are there any specific words that you despise?
There are all kinds of words. One thing is just to tell people about it. You see, I found out in this rather early time that I'm not able to pronounce any dirty words. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't know them. I know them. I think I have a good knowledge of them in several languages. I cannot say them. And I found out later, it was funny, I was wondering, because if I know the words, I know what I mean exactly. So I can, for example, tell you in America, not only that about half of the dirty words in American come from Yiddish. And I can also tell you what part of the Jewish world they came from. What country especially, because you can't find it according to the exact pronunciation, but that's not the point. But I understood later on, I lived in a home, I didn't see anything special in it. I never heard in my home, which I grew, never heard one dirty word spoken neither as a joke or in anger, never. So of course, when you don't have it, you don't hear it, if you can't work at it. The same thing was, people tried to teach me to play cards. I don't think that I'm that stupid. So they showed me the card game, and I can play it. In about 2 days I forget it. Why? Because at home they just despised playing cards. Just despised it. So I don't have it. It's somehow strange, or same thing. But what I really despise is people that take advantage of others. I really despise. In a certain way, it's also, if one is speaking here and there, it's also about all kinds of things. I know how it can be done. I know the mechanics, how people can be made into trying to help you, to deal with you, to do anything for you. Just how to make them do it. But I cannot do it. I know how it is done, but I cannot do it. That is something, because I think it's a very low thing to take advantage of people, as people in the time of need, of people in the time of aspirations, as people that put their trust in you. So that is something that I really despise. Okay.
All right. Okay. So moving on to the next theme, which really speaks of Jewish survival. In your, I'm sure you've all read the Jewish News interview with Rabbi Steinsaltz a week ago, but in your recent interview, you summarized the main obstacle of the Jews today in one word, and that word is survival. So the question then becomes personal. What can we do, everyone here in this room? Something really tangible, something practical. What can we do, maybe one or two or three things, in order to really overcome this obstacle of survival?
Well, but survival is really, in this sense, in our sense, is a double-edged or double meaning word. Because survival is not just to keep alive as a person, or to keep alive as a tribe. Because what's happening in most countries is Jews are no longer in most countries killed practically. So our survival in a way is there. Not enough, but still we can survive. And survival is also the meaning. What happens with something? See, if you take a tree and you cut it into simple pieces of wood, you cannot say that the tree survived. The tree physically they wasn't burnt. The tree survived in the sense that the material survived. But the essence, it's no longer a tree, it's no longer something of essence. Now, for our existence, for survival, which is, see, we have so many things to do in the world. And we have so many things that are before us in order to do them. But in order to do anything, we have to survive. Let me just say, it's out of your questioning, but still, I'm just giving myself some freedom. See, there is, if the Goyim would understand it, they would possibly, as the Midrash says, they would put a guard around every Jew to keep him alive and to keep him Jewish, because that is the secret for survival of the world. So, in that sense, we are, if you want to understand what is such a small number and so percentage, about 2 promille of the world's population is there and is important. It is like, so to use other words, we are, all the world is made of different elements, oxygen and hydrogen and whatever it is, all kinds of nitrogen, as you see, iron and gold. We, as the Jews, we are served as in the nature, we are the radioactive elements. We are those who make things happen. So all the world is dormant. When we are needed for the world, if the world would understand it properly, they would of course keep us, because we are essential to the survival of the world. It's not just to making atom bombs. Incidentally, Jews participated in a huge amount, a huge number of them, percentage of Jews in the Los Alamos experiment. The funny thing is, at the same time, in the Soviet Union, they also tried to develop their atom bomb, and they did it. they did an atom bomb, a hydrogen bomb. It was not done by stealing from America. It was done because they gave all the power that they had, all the scientific power for building it. The funny thing that I heard from a person that wasn't there, the group that developed the Russian atom bomb was called, unofficially, it was called the synagogue. So people would write unofficial notes. The synagogue needs another 100 million ruble. The synagogue needs so-and-so. So it was, as I say, the same kind of people. Right. Not the same people, of course. We were on opposite sides. But these people were all of them, they were not, they did the radioactive experience, but I'm speaking in a bigger way. We are in many ways behind almost everything that is being, in a way, done in the world. There was in France, there's here one or two people from France, but I don't know if you are also people that read papers, but there was about 30, 40 years ago somebody that was, he wrote a book. The Jews didn't like the book because now the book was not anti-Semitic. In fact, the Jews wanted to suppress the book because the book had, there was a main point in the book, and it was trying to make it a list of names and saying every person of any importance in the world was either a Jew or a descendant of a Jew, or at least a disciple of a Jew, no others. So the Jews didn't want it in France, this book, and they tried to suppress it. And the fellows just said, I love Jews. In fact, my mistress is a Jewish girl. So I'm just saying, that is what we are. In order to do that, let me just say, survival means we have to survive as a people. And the fact that the average number of Jews born here in America is below sustaining ability. See, in order to any population to sustain itself, it needs to have, they are called 2.2 children. Which means more than 2 children. I mean, of course, you don't have a 0.2 children in real life, but the average is like this. This is the number. The numbers here are not like this. So one of the things is, I can't push people. I can't force them or kick them in having more children. But that is one of the things that we need. We need in order to survive, not to die. Otherwise we are dying. Nobody has to kill us. We are just dying on our own. That's one thing. And there is a deeper thing, which is survival as what? Survival as Mr. So-and-so that comes from a Jewish family. There are lots of people that come from Jewish families. Some of them have still Jewish names. There was all kinds of people, including she was the secretary of the Foreign Office, the one called the Secretary of State in America. She was a Jewish woman that was hiding the fact that she is Jewish for a very long time. So, but that's not the point. The point is, we need to create our personality. It's not enough to say that I'm Jewish because by some bad chance or good chance I have been circumcised. That's not enough. See, let me just say, you see the people around here are such nice and gentle people that I shouldn't say so. But you see, if you have to circumcise them, then possibly should do it in the head, not in the place of
All right, well, thank you. So I don't know about the second point of circumcising people in the head, but I can relate to the first point of having children. Esther can relate to that. But speaking, I think it's a nice transition. Speaking about children, if you could unite, because I know that Rabbi Steinsaltz's love for children is really palpable. I'll never forget a quick anecdote. When you came to visit us in Atlanta, when we lived in Atlanta, we went to this school, and the children were having snacks. You probably don't remember, maybe you do. And there was a preschooler who was eating a banana. And Rabbi Steinsaltz starts speaking with the children. He's making his rounds, and he takes the banana peel that he had already thrown away, and he draws a beautiful drawing on the banana peel, and he tells the child, you see, even from trash you can make a treasure. But that's how palpable your love is for children. So if you could unite, it's a short question, if you could unite all the children of the world and give them one message, what would that message be?
You see, if I would speak about children in general, I would tell them, you have to grow inwardly, not only outwardly.
Okay, very good. So I want to transition now, speaking about family units, to relationships. You know, the divorce rates are unfortunately continuing to skyrocket. And my question to you is there a secret, one secret, to maintaining a good marriage?
Look, this is...
I know, it's impossible. Condense it to one word. One word.
To condense it to one word, it is, see, I told just now, two young boys, I should have kicked them, but I just spoke with them, see. What, based in so many ways, what creates in some way the question, the problems about relationship, what creates in a different way the problems of people that already have a relationship or it's crashing, people that don't have and they are searching for it for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and so on, and the relationship of what I was put it in a very simple way. It's almost not just non-romantic, but anti-romantic. See, when we meet each other, men and women, and when we want to become closer, we create for ourselves all kinds of impossible images and impossible notions about what the other can be. And I told some people, I said to a boy, I told him, I know what you are dreaming about, about your dream girl. Your dream girl you can find only in one way, if you marry the image that you see in the mirror. But if you don't marry this, we see, if a person would demand from himself half of what he dreams about his wife, he would be a wonderful husband. So the point is people read too many bad novels, and so too many bad films. Because of that, they get wrong pictures. But when they begin to deal with each other, not through the pictures, and not to the bad literature, and begin to deal with it, in many ways it means relationships closer. They need lots of patience and trust, and this can be done. If I want to have also, I want to marry somebody that is an impossible impossible combination of things. Of course I won't find it, and I will be disappointed, and vice versa. I mean, so as somebody said, what is the definition? What is a bride? A bride is a girl that ceased to wait for the knight on the white horse. when she sees that, then she can be married. And for the boy, it's the same thing. When he doesn't want to find anymore the blue-haired fairy of Pinocchio, if you read any books, if you don't want to find the blue-haired fairy, and he would like to meet, he's not a nice woman that he can find, relationship will be much better.
Okay, all right. I'm going to transition. I know we don't have much time, but I want to transition to the personal questions that many people sent here. Some will touch upon also subjects of relationship, but we'll begin with the first one. Do you believe in the concept bashert, right? When you find your soulmate, and if yes, how can I find my bashert?
I don't. It's a nice question. I've been asked about it many times. First of all, you see, I don't really believe that a person has always to marry somebody that is really his soulmate. I think that in many cases it's just a figment of the imagination. So instead of finding this, you sometimes skip 10 right men, and you are searching for the bashert who is really non-existent. So let me just put it when we speak about it, that the Almighty pairs people before they are born. He doesn't say there, one of the strange things, he doesn't say that his pairings have a happy life. It's a funny thing. See, he speaks about making pairs, but not about a happy life. Because the Almighty sometimes makes other considerations. He wants the genes of two people to meet and to produce something that he wants to have. He doesn't care if they suffer in time. So he doesn't care because he says, look, to create a person like the Maimonides. Maimonides makes a list of 7 generations before him. More people. Now, nobody says how the family life was, but to produce something like this, you have to pair them. So sometimes if you ask too much for the one that was destined for you, possibly it won't be so happy, such a happy life. So you try to find somebody that is a right person, that is the right person, that is a person that you can, as I say, you can trust, you can love, you can be connected with. And the idea about the bashert, possibly you'll find that as some people found it, and again, I'm killing the time. Rabbi Allouche wants to have a nice good discussion.
No, go ahead. You have to find the right person, not the bashert.
So I'm just saying that there's a famous story. This is the story itself I found in very, very early times. People talk about, but it's not I don't discuss here history, but the point is, it's a story about a person who had a dream that he has a treasure under the bridge in the city of Prague. Now he was living in Krakow in Poland, but after some time he went to the bridge to find the treasure there. He's moving around, and the guard on the bridge is suspicious. And he wants to arrest him. So the fellow confesses. He says, I had a dream that I had a treasure here. So the guard tells him, what a fool you are. I have always a dream that under the oven of a fellow, a Jew that lives in Krakow, who has this name, there is a treasure. So he went home and dug under his oven and found the treasure. So what I'm trying to tell you is, sometimes people are going to search for all kinds of things, but they should know that in many a time the treasure is found just near home. And you have to search for it also there, not only the end of the book.
Excellent. So, so when God creates man, as you said, I have a question here that relates particularly to this. See, I'm going to quote, I've heard various answers to the question of why, but I'm still curious. Why did God create the universe? And more specifically, why did he create us? Our mission is to perform mitzvah and be a light to the nation. Surely, God could have given that to the angels. Why delegate to man with all his weaknesses, shortcomings, and evil inclinations instead?
Look, it can be answered in many ways. The essential question is by definition. I mean, if you, I am not going to make any time, but the first question, why did the Almighty create the world, is a question that by definition, if you think about, not about what I call American evangelistic preachers, but if you think about it, it's a different set of mind, you can find that this question is not answerable by very definition. But why did he create us in a certain way? We are an impossible combination. Impossible because we are made of two different, almost opposite entities. Our spirit and our body are not of the same kind. But in a certain way, I'll put it the following way. Even I thought about it. See, the Almighty is making the world is an experiment that the Lord is making. And the experiment is, I will be hiding myself in one end of the universe. I'll put people on the other hand. Will they hear me? So the whole thing that's happening all over the world is that he gave us some abilities, and his decision, we get it. In America, possibly some of you know about it, we have thousands of yards or meters of antennas that are trying to see if there is anything from the outer space, any meaningful statement from the outer space. In a certain way, the Lord says something. He says to us, I am here, I'm hiding in the other side of the world. Will one of you recognize me? Will one of you make a notion that he exists? So basically when a person says that one righteous person is what we call an answer for the existence of the whole world. The existence of the whole world is, will this very remote person, will it hear what I call the Lord is speaking? Do I hear? Do I answer? When I hear and I answer, it means the experiment was successful. So God is glad. Now with angels, it's not a fun, it's not an experiment. It's not that they're cheating. They're too good for it. So he wants to see if we, as handicapped as we are, as small-minded as we are, as occupied in playing golf or playing tennis or doing other things, we are preoccupied. Will we hear him? So if one comes and says, I heard it. So that's the end of the experiment. The Lord says, okay, the experiment was successful.
Okay, so two more questions. And I apologize if I didn't include all of your questions, but I will try my best to present it to Rabbi Steinsaltz throughout his day. But there's a question I think that pertains to many, because obviously, one of our campaigns in Congregation Beth Tefillah, and it's a form that you fill out when you become a member, that you should fill out when you become a member is the Change the World campaign, where everyone has to take one mitzvah at a time. So this is a question I think pertains to everyone in that context. So this is a person who writes like this: I find myself at a place where I'm not following all of the mitzvot, but want to follow more and more. I want to increase my observance and Torah knowledge. I also struggle with this on many levels, ranging from the practical and the lack of knowledge. And yet I also find, this is the question, I also find that I'm comfortable with being stuck in the middle, as I'm neither religious nor secular. So how can I work through this, knowing that my family will be secure? What are the best ways to deal with the internal struggle of living in a gray area?
Look, it is there is a whole book that's devoted only for describing that the whole of man, the way of man is to have this eternal struggle. And we are all of us struggling with it, the small people and the bigger people. And the point is that struggling is not the same. Continuing to enjoy this state, this being on, say, one leg in one side and the other leg in the other side, that is what is wrong about it. It is the fact that we are struggling. We're always struggling. Let me just tell you that people think that I'm becoming religious, all the questions will be solved. It's nonsense. The only thing that the person becoming religious happens is that he loses some small questions and he gains bigger questions. And if we become better and higher, we'll get better and higher questions. So you're always struggling.
So your entire life is a gray area, in other words.
It's not a gray area. It's not a gray area. It's an area. It's an area which is, I mean, I'm trying to make it slightly better, slightly nicer. So I'm working my lifetime as much as I could. I'm trying to do it. And see what again, it's not the way that it should be done. See, people sometimes need a little bit of a kick in the backside to move it like a little bit.
There's a curse word for that, you know that, Rabbi?
What?
There's a curse word for that. Okay, all right. No, I think that you answered it brilliantly, that the goal is not to come out of the struggle, but it's
the goal is to go on, continue, and to be tomorrow. I told somebody today here, I suppose, the goal is that what was yesterday, the sky above my head, should tomorrow be the floor in which I tread. That is the way. So go on, go up.
All right.
I mean, and I'm speaking, I'm saying it to those who are 70 years old here or older, and to those who are 5 years old here or younger. It's the same thing.
Good.
Go on, go.
So to conclude with 1.5 questions. Okay, so one serious one, and one maybe that you can answer on one foot. But I, of course, and this is a woman that is truly suffering, I, of course, have the age-old questions of why do bad things happen to good people? Why do some people, often with bad morals and materialistic views, have so much good luck, while others must go through life with constant hardship? How does God determine who gets the good luck and who gets the tzoros? And more importantly, how do we keep faith when we feel we are unfairly tested?
Look, we are always unfairly tested, and some of the people that get the good luck and the success, how would I call? They are possibly how to put it? Sometimes you have a kid, not hopefully none of the families, that no, the kid is terribly retarded, say, a level of a cretin or a moron. So the only thing is, let this kid, poor kid, be fed because you can't expect anything from him. So God sometimes gives him some of the very richest and successful people. He says, okay, this guy can never achieve anything of value. So let him be rich and successful. And because nothing good can come to him. Now there is another person, and God may say, okay, if he's a little bit pushed, possibly something good can become of it. It's the same thing. I demand if I have a kid at home, I demand much more than I demand from a dog at home. And I demand more from the dog than I demand from a potato. So a potato has a good life, happy and healthy, nobody scolds it. It's really the wonderful life of a potato. Now some of these potatoes have $3 billion. So they are rich potatoes. Okay. Now some of the people, they are possibly will never be potatoes. So they have different about their life. They have to strive, to work. So and when a person says, how good is to be a potato? Okay. It's not really that good to be a potato.
Okay. All right, excellent. So to end on a potato note. But one of the questions, I'm not relating to the question, on a positive note, should we all move to Israel? Should we all make Aliyah?
Look, theoretically, it could be a good thing for Israel. Theoretically. If it would be a good thing for the Americans, I'm not sure. But for Israel, certain things are good. Now, incidentally, the percentage, even sometimes in some cases, the absolute numbers of people that come to Israel from America is very small. So they don't overdo it. The good they have. See, in America, the basic notion is you sit here and you dream about Israel. And if you will be in Israel, you cannot dream anymore about Israel. So it is something like how wonderful and romantic is a hopeless love. You can go on writing letters, writing poetry, and sitting here and giving to the United Jewish Appeal, which is really not very important for Israel. But still, you can be in love. But all in all, look, we hope eventually all the Jews will move there. It is, as it is for the time being, lots of considerations for individuals, many considerations of what is the best thing for me personally to do, and how can I do it. So these things should be dealt with, but previously, and as you see, the state of Israel of today is not even pushing very much into this day, because there is a kind of relationship, say, Jews in Israel, Jews in other places, and as I say, just many years ago, when was it? 1971, I suppose. This is some time ago. I was in a federation of community, and I told them, they were then discussing the idea, should federation help the Jewish diaspora? It was one of the first that was discussed. And I told them, look, if you want to help Israel, the best investment is to build another diaspora. Because if you give it a tank, the tank will be damaged nationwide. The real way that you can really help Israel is by having more people that are connected. So that's one of the first things to do, even before moving out, is see, we have a community here. The community can do better. I will be supposed tomorrow in the school. Nice school, very nice, okay. I'm sure that they are the nice kids and they sing very nicely or something. They have a Gala and so on. Very, very nice, but the big thing is you can do better. And communities can do better. And they should do better. Should do better, first of all, as I say. The first thing, before we go anywhere else, survival. And as I say, the point is, the problem of assimilation is, it's worse, or was worse, in Russia. Perhaps 96% of intermarriage. It is very bad in Europe. The numbers in America are becoming lower. The numbers of Jews, purely Jewish marriages. But see, Israel is not immune. So if you can do something about that, do something about whom do you marry, how important it is, how important it is to create better Jewish life. I mean, I am very much for your synagogue. This to finish something that is not. See, I've been discussing with your rabbi for some years about the place here, and I said, and I was involved in one or two, possibly at least more lucrative offers, right? You remember? And I've been involved in them in one way, more than one way. And I said, still, here is a community that you are trying to create, to build. It is worth it, even though other places the life in other places may be easier and the salary may be higher. But that's not the point. So the point is I'm not trying to do it because that was my advice before that, more than one time when there was a discussion. I'm saying, okay, it's very nice to have here a community that seems to like the community, the congregation, what's called in the right Jewish word, it's a kind of a beginning of having a dakdusha, which is a holy community, something more, a holy fraternity in a way. So that's a great thing. So you have to do it, and it has to go. It has to go more, and you have to try to build and to care for the little children, for the bigger children, and at the end, it doesn't. We can prove it is how much these children that get the education, get the motivation, get the drive, how much it won't hamper them in life. Not to do sins, and sure not in order doing mitzvahs. So it can be done. So there's something to do. So before opting out, so before you opt out, try to do here something important that for the continuation, for the life, for the survival, and just pull yourself. If you cannot do it otherwise, each of you takes himself by the hair and try to put yourself higher. That is what is really needed here.
Amen. Thank you. And I can't resist my Sephardic side. And therefore, I have to kiss you. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Rabbi Steinsaltz, for sharing your wisdom. It's It's not often that we get to have a scholar, a once-in-a-millennium scholar, come and share your wisdom in a beautiful evening, a beautiful setting, and with our Rabbi Allouche. I just wanted to announce we have dessert coming, and that'll be followed by Bir Hamazon. After that, we have more book sales, and Rabbi Steinsaltz will be out to sign books, probably in about 10 or 15 minutes. So please take advantage of the opportunity to buy a book, have it signed, and grow higher and higher. We're looking forward to welcoming each and every one of you at Congregation Beth Tefillah in the near future, whether it's a morning minyan or a Shabbos or a holiday. Please join us. We have lots of social programs, lots of educational programs. Esther also runs many programs, so come. We even have a book club. You don't even have to read the book. And we will have an opportunity to see our beloved Rabbi duo again this summer in Israel. So please join us for an Israel trip. Thank you again.
Thank you. Before you go, Renee, we'd like to seal this evening once again by thanking our wonderful Gala chairs. My wife has a few words and a present to share.
So we want to, as we've done before, we want to take this time to thank once again our co-chairs, Renee and Valerie Warden. So Renee is here to support and to help our community grow, and you're an example to all of us. So thank you for everything that you do to the community, and right now and in the future, we really appreciate everything that you do. Thank you. And Valerie, we've come a long way. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for being the Eshet Chayil president. Since 2011, we've been working together in many programs. We've done holiday, Shabbat dinners, we've done Girls Night Out, and learning, and children events. And so I just wanted to tell you how much we admire you, and I love working with you, and we hope that, all this is really thanks to you. So thank you so much. And thank you for all of your time. So we have a special gift for you, and it's waiting by thank you to Oron Ephraim. He has in the Diamond Vault, we have something keepsake for you waiting there. So thank you so much for all that you do, and all that you do all the time. Thank you.
And so tomorrow morning, 9:30, my family room, women's yoga and Kabbalah. All the women are invited. Esther's leading.
All right, thank you. Ose shalom b'mumah, shalom aleinu, ve'atov Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom. Alors, cette semaine, ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh Shalom.